page Kuf Chofalev, in the middle of discussing the union of mitzvahs, that mitzvahs is really kfir. Shor Maschas kfir, which is like a third on the top. Dika, weil the mitzvahs of this echer davka. The ultimate avodah of mitzvahs is davka when he forces himself against the nature. Even if this person doesn't want, is not interested, he should still perform the mitzvah. Shazel Indian the Ma'aseh mitzvah is Kabbalah Samach Shamayim. That's why when we talk about doing mitzvahs, it's not just doing it; it's Kabbalah soil. Kamayim, Maim Kabbalah Malchus v'Hakar Kabbalah Gzeros. The Rebbe said first accept my kingship and then my Gzeros. The Mishnah says Lama Kodma Shema Lavoyim Shemoya. Why is the parsha of Shema come before parsha of Lavoyim Shemoya? They should Kabbalah Olav. That's all in of Kabbalah soil. Kabbalah soil, what is Kabbalah soil mean? He does it he forces himself against his will. That's the natural, the work of an Eved, of a servant, is ba'oil. There's a difference between someone loves somebody, and that's why he does things for him. Then he does it with his own will. Mashenkin Eved doesn't do it. Doesn't do it because he wants Elam to. He's forced. That's his job. That's his position to be a servant. גם שאין ארץ, הרץ על קיים, זה ארץ המלך. So that's the simple meaning of Asiyas mitzvahs. To do the decree of the king, to perform decree even against his will, against his nature. Then sometimes they find that he does want to do it. That just shows a different bittul. Even a servant who is willing, who is doing it, who agrees to do it, but the master wants of him, it's still an expression of his bittul. There's a major difference. If someone does because he loves the person that he does for him, so he really feels fulfilled his own because he loves the person. The melee that makes him want to do something for him. Why does he love the beloved? Because it makes him feel good. Either because he gets some benefit out of him, the person who is beloved to him is great, and it's good, makes him feel good to be close to him. So that automatically makes him want to do what he wants. Because making what Lasses Masha Ohev, that it's really a natural thing because it makes him closer to him from both directions, either from his direction or from his direction. Mele, so it's really about himself. So when he does it, it's all about fulfilling his own desire, his own interest. Mashenken can be ever for other. But when you talk about a master, a servant and a master, ain't evidence which allows him a cloud. The evidence has no interest in doing anything. So he gave us this very fully fleshed out difference in Eved and Odin and Oyev and Og. Mele, Mitzvah, Mitzvah also. Mitzvah has to be But even if someone wants to do it, it's also, what does he want? It's not he wants his own need. He wants the Eibishter wants. It's not because he's interested in his own benefit, like because he wants to feel inspired. That's not the reason. The reason he does is because he's not, he puts himself as such. He's not interested in his own benefit, only to fulfill the Eibishter thoughts. But generally speaking, so he goes back and forth. First, he starts saying that mitzvahs means echer, but then he said there can be a situation that a person does mitzvahs and he wants to do it, but even then, that's not a general. But generally speaking, the concept of mitzvahs means that when it comes to doing it, don't think, do I want to do it? Don't I want to do it? You just do it. So it's your own interest is not relevant. That's point one. Another, there's another point. He wants to, but he does more that he wants. He wants to be yaitze, but he does more. So both of these aspects of doing mitzvahs express the idea that the mitzvah is about forcing yourself. This is one of the reasons why about tzedakah the expression says ma'aseh, which of course is a pasuk. I think it's in shiur. Why do they say ma'aseh tzedakah? Because the Shabbat tzedakah in the midst of tzedakah, it's obvious, it's very clearly expressed, and it's obvious that he does something against his nature. Because in order to gain, to make the money that he's giving, he had to invest a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. Not only sometimes a situation that he just stage of sales nefesh. And then all the money he made, which put in so much effort into it, till Mesilas Nefesh, he put himself in danger to make that deal to make the money, and then he takes the money and gives it to poor person. And Nika was a bit. Nika, we can recognize, we can see that there's a kfir and bittul in that act. Similar to the way it is in mitzvah of tzedakah, which is the most obvious, similar to all the mitzvahs. And this is one of the reasons all mitzvahs are called b'shem tzedakah, which are kotzu, and there's a pasuk in Chumash. Tzedakah tiyalon, and yishmal asas kol mitzvah azos. All mitzvahs have tzedakah. Why? See, it's interesting. See, he brings out what aspect of tzedakah we see in all the mitzvahs. It says, all the mitzvahs have this aspect in them, the kfir, the forcing yourself, forcing your nature to do against. But I know, and he develops it more. That applies to both sides. And mitzvahs and mitzvahs that their function is that their way of performing is by action. Saying lasses, that's lasses. He does something. It means he goes out of his way and he does something, but his nature does make him do. So that's a simple meaning of it says. Mitzvahs loises as a vadak fear. In mitzvahs loises is obviously that it forces himself. The whole point of mitzvahs loises means you should refrain from something that you're drawn to. You're drawn to do something. You have a desire to do something, and then don't do it. That's obviously an act of kfir, of overcoming your nature. So that in the world of mitzvahs, it's really obvious that it's kfir. But even in the essence, it's kfir. Even in Limudat Torah, learning Torah, which the face of it seems like an act of a natural act. It says even there, the ultimate Limudat Torah, Amor Azal, ain't a dem shenim be'pamim shenim be'kumayim pa'avachas. Shnika Oived Elikim. The famous Perik Tanya, Perik Tezvov, I think, that When R'Dovid Elikim Ashalai Avodah, what does R'Dovid Elikim only pay Palmi Vachas? He learns more than the natural way of learning. And another Hazal that says Ma Yasa Odom Oya Hogel Likas Daf Echad Tereshnei Dafim. Ainu Shal Yasa Eisam Egeluse. So from these two, in these two Mamar Hazal, paying Palmi Vachas and Tereshnei Dafim, we see that the ideal way of learning Torah is also the fear that it forces himself against his nature. Okay, so that was quite a long discussion that he started in started today. Yesterday we started. He said Ma'aseh mitzvahs. You say why is Ma'aseh gadol? Because Ma'aseh mitzvahs means forcing yourself. They had symptoms. Adam with something. Es atzmai, meniach mevatler tzaynoi, person forces himself and puts his interest aside. Aidezer gam lamaila symptoms that causes lamaila, that like mida connected mida. The Indian of the Rebishta Kaviyachol is a symptom. Shemeniach mesal ka'er abligvul. The Rebishta puts aside and removed, so to speak, or maybe it's so what stays, what's expressed then is the gvul. The gvul, that's the creation of Shuin Vagdul the Maitavrishis. That's point one. That he made 1 point. Now all of a sudden it tells us something that Omnam be'emes. So according to this understanding, the Ma'aseh mitzvahs, no, all that is what brings about the creation of the world. On the be'emes, I'm sure that mitzvahs ain't like but truth is, mitzvahs have a deeper and higher purpose, not just lamshas hamakalelos. The Ma'aseh b'chadash b'tuv b'chol mitzvot Ma'aseh b'reishis zeh me'atzmi gam b'lei Ma'aseh mitzvahs. The creation of the world is really on its own, without even without Ma'aseh mitzvahs. V'hu krisis b'ris the Noach. The Eibishter promised Noach. There was a krisis b'ris, there was a covenant with Noach after the Ma'abel Shenema. Eibishter told Noach, after the Ma'abel, after the Noach came out of the Teva. So the Eibishter told him, Oit kol yimei ha'oretz zera v'kotze v'koyer v'choyim v'chskayetz v'choyer v'yem v'lai lo yishbois. There was the Eibishter promised Noach is not shach to mitzvahs. Noach is b'nei Noach. I mean, mitzvahs b'nei Noach is a different type of mitzvahs, but there was no Torah, there was no mitzvahs. The Eibishter promised Noach that the world will continue, the nature will continue running lo yishbois without interruption. So that is something which is not dependent on mitzvahs. Now, in the language of Kabbalah, the Amshach, the Amshach that was promised and started with Noach, that is called Zivach Chitzayni Da'ava, the external unity of Abba Ve'ema, of Chacham and Bina. Because according to Kabbalah, everything in this status comes from Ziv Gavor, from the Abba Chacham and Bina combined. So those Ziv Pnimi and Ziv Chitzayni. So Ziv Chitzayni Da'ava, that is that's the kima elements. That's a lower level of oil and stuff, which of the gila shalmayel. This nimshach the kima elements. I'm sure the mitzvahs, but the Amshach that's two mitzvahs. That's the next step in history. Hoya krisis bis the ava. When they get the Vayim al Koras Hashem is Avam bris leimoy. There was a bris with Avam. That's a different bris. That's the bris that depends on the mitzvahs. Commissioner Koras will be the Shabbat. But the Shabbat says, Shama Avam told the Eivishter, Noach, like a bris. What are you saying? That why you also made a bris with Noach? Amalakadosh Baruch Hu, Noach leya matim amin. So he told them, I'm not saying I'm not unique. The Eibishter also, you made a bris with Noach. Says the Eibishter to Noach, to Avram, min Noach lehemaditi meginim b'tzadikim. In other words, you're different than Noach because in your situation, there's also there's also beginning with tzaddikim. In other words, the bris is in a way that it's connected to avoid to beginning with tzaddikim. Well, you know, so now is explaining these two ways of rotzen. The chitzonis rotzen, pnimis rotzen. He's developing it more by the rotzen is savas silence when chitzonis doing stuff. אבל הרצון, מצווה זה הרצון פנימי ועצמי, כמו שכזה מקום אחר. We say the Eibishter is a Rotzer. Rotzer means, well, I mean, it's obviously only a dogma because the Eibishter is not human. He doesn't have a tzaynis. All these words are just mashalim. So just like in the human being experience, the two types of tzaynis, is Rotzer chitzayni, Rotzer pnimi. Chitzayni means he wants something. He don't really want it. He want it as a means to an end because he want to achieve something else. He want that too. He want to go to work in order to have panos. You want to have panos, should have what to eat. You want to eat in order should stay alive. I mean, there's a lot of chitzanim. A lot of things we do as a means to an end. That's called rotzah chitzanim. Rotzah pnimi means what's really my inner drive. What do I really want deep inside? That's the way it works in the human nature. So similar situation. It's a similar situation, similar to Nimshel. We talk about Maila, the Amshach, the expression of the Eibishter's interest. Which again, the word interest means the expression of the kus. In this world, there are two ways. One is compared to Ratzon Chitzayni, which is something which is not really the ultimate intent. It's just a means to an end. And there's the Ratzon Pnimi, that this is the ultimate Eibishter really wants to achieve here. That means it's the inner thing. They are mitzvahs, to mitzvahs, we reach the real essence of Elikus. Sometimes these two fanim of the Amshach Milamayla, it's saying is also sometimes he calls it B'derech Klal. B'derech Klal means, generally speaking, these are the two madrigas that Chassidus talks about. Seviv Klam that says in Zoya, you Mal Klam, you Seviv Klam. The Eibishter surrounds the world, so to speak, and he fills the world. What's the difference? The Eresh above Michnas Midog Gvul Avasa Ilama Isipnas Mal Klam. That madriga for Likus, which creates the elements and lowers itself to the state of the elements in a way to create them. That is madriga of Memala. Memala means he lowered himself to fill in our reality according to its parameters, to its needs. So he's limited himself. Mitzvahs reach a much higher level of Likus, the expression of the Eibishter as he is, save with God, he's surrounding, he's not invested in the world. But what is how the save of Kalam and Nimshach? There's the mitzvahs of Mamshach save. It doesn't just mean Mamshach save. It could be Mamshach of save in a way that the world ceased to exist. When, like it says, that sometimes if there's Amshacha of something that's higher, so we're bottled. We come into we come into a place and someone speaks language speaks a language you don't understand, so you just you don't know what's going on. You're bottled. You're not. It doesn't have an effect on you. It's a muscle. So it can be something that's above your head. It doesn't have any effect. Says the Mashenkin here, the Chiddush of Mitzvah is not Dam Gilas Sev. In Amshachu Sher Asefkas Malaris Pnisa Pnimi. The way mitzvahs Mamshach Sevev is in a way that that you should feel the seven. It shouldn't be internalized. So now he brings in another aspect of tzimtzum, which usually we don't talk about this. So he says, in order that the pnimi, the makif, should reach the pnimi in a way that it should not destroy it, it should be digested, should be received. There has to be a tzimtzum in the makif, in the seven. Otherwise, the pnimi will recover. But what type of tzimtzum is it? He says it's not a tzimtzum like we usually say. Tzimtzum is siluk. So it seems that it's with Nima. There seems some shchinosim based by the own. Like he's gonna develop it in the next few lines. The Gemara says that Chazal say tzimtzum shchinosim based by the own. The Ebershter contracted this shchina between the two sticks of the oil. It's it's an expression. It's like I said the first time. It's like concentrate. There's a concentrate. Tzimtzum can mean concentrate. Tzimtzum can mean removal. And it can also be concentrated. You take the entire greatness and it concentrates into something small, but it contains the full essence. In our, like, it's funny, but in our experience, all concept of concentrate usually applies to food. But it's a muscle. Just like you take some food stuff and you do something to it that you take out all the chitzonius, only the essence stays, the concentrate. So it's not symptom. Symptom means that the important part is diminished. Over here, just the opposite. All the important parts stay. It's just the chitzonius is away. So it's almost like an opposite point of symptom. That's what symptom based by the own needs. The tzimtzum zeli is gila and some the meaning of tzimtzum here is almost the opposite of its usually say. What are they at tzimtzum? When they say tzimtzum, it can mean that tzimtzum shchanase means there's a diminishment. Because Samigdash was the gila of the gila likus, the highest madrig. No, was tzimtzum means that it's concentrated. The dosha is based in yoni with tzimtzum. So that's what he brings in. Like I just said, there are two in Yonim, two types, two kinds of tzimtzum. Ha'alav sh'atzimtzum is siluk, sh'misalik. One way understanding tzimtzum, one type of tzimtzum is sh'misalik, that he's removing a certain aspect. Moving sh'misalik that the obligable is removed. Base, but there's a second shot, which is in our case, that's a different understanding of tzimtzum. Tzimtzum means that he can't, like I said, I think the marshal is concentrated. It's all concentrated in one in base by the but it's in full force. So that's so in usually, like you said, the most obvious expression of that is in Beis Hamikdash, by the or. But so that concept happens to all mitzvahs. In Giluf Nesev Kalam Malakolam, he said earlier that Sev is Nisgala in Mamala to mitzvahs. That symptoms of the so the type is the second type of symptom. The symptom that concentrates the entire obligul within the gvul. How does that happen? The mitzvahs have this special power to imamsh the say within the memale in a way that it's fully there. Sure, that's why mitzvah is a lashon tzafsa. That's why the mitzvah the meaning of mitzvah is melashon tzafsa, uniting, combining. He connects, combines Sev and Memal. That's why for the mitzvah we say It says well, a lot of the Kabbalah between each mitzvah. Before each mitzvah, it says Hashem Yichud Kodesh Baruch Hu. You can look in the Sidurim, the Sfarad, the Persian, the before Sfir Seiber, there's Hashem Yichud. Before there's always Hashem Yichud. It says in the mind, I think it's in this sefer further somewhere. The Rebbe Shab says that we say Hashem Yichud once in the morning before Baruch Shama, and that applies to all the mitzvahs we do. But the concept is there. Just Chabad is not to say it before every mitzvah, but the idea of Hashem Yichud applies to every mitzvah. Zayin Hashem Yichud Kodesh Baruch Hu Shchinte. So this is mean what is Yichud Kodesh Baruch Hu Shchinte? That's the Inish of Chesed Kol Malkolm. Kodesh Baruch Hu Shchinte. Asayim Mal. The two madrigas of Sev Malkolm. Kodesh Baruch Hu is Sev Kolam, and Shchinte is Malkolm. The source, the highest level of Kedusha Shchinte is the highest madrega in the Likus, which is called Shchina. That's the Eir Kav, and it's Nimshach in the Chol Shachar Tzimtzum, because Shchina means he dwells, it's Sheichen. So the Kav is Sheichen in the Eilamis. Kedusha Baruch Hu B'Knesset Tzimtzum, which goes to Malkamach. So the highest madrega of Kedusha Baruch Hu Shchinte is the Eir Sof Shalifnei Tzimtzum and the Eir Kav. The Yichud Kedusha Baruch Hu Shchinte Shegil B'Knesset Sof Shalifnei Tzimtzum. The Indian of the concept of Yichud means that the Eir Sof Shalifnei Tzimtzum should be Nizgala within the Eir Kav. And then it brings also the famous Emek HaMelech that's also brought in the Megillah of Samach Vav and a lot of other places. Emek HaMelech says over there, the Masha Kosov, but it says when they get to Adam Rishon, when Yechei with Gan Eden loved the L'Shamra, the aims to put him in Gan Eden to work on it and to protect it. A kavona la'am shetchinas gila and some the kavona in that, the intent of putting Adam Rishon in Gan Eden of the L'Shamra means the amshach of the Ensof Shlifnei Tzimtzum. Zer Gamke, there's another remez. Zer Gamke, the mitzvah Havaya. The word mitzvah itself actually also represents this concept of Yichud Kodesh Baruch Hu Shchinte, because the word, it says in Kabbalah, the word mitzvah is Havaya. Why is mitzvah Havaya? Because the mem tzadik bet adbash a yutke. The first two letters word mitzvah, mem and tzadik, to the combination is called adbash. Adbash means like aleph tov, that you take the aleph base and split into two, and it parallel the first and the last, aleph with the top, the base with the shin, etc. So according to that, the adbash, mem is a yud, and mem parallels the yud, and the tzaddik and the hey is the tzaddik. So yud, the yud k of Shem Havaya, that's the mem and the tzaddik. Now, when we learned the first time, someone asked, why is it like a mem and tzaddik, not yud k? Because it means that it's a certain, it's not, I think they explained somewhere that it means that it's not the full, the pure yud k, it's a certain low level. Okay, but now, here in this moment, it's not negeya. Some places we explain why it's negeya, it should be a reader, the koponim. So according to that, mitzvah is really Yudke Vavke. So what does it mean? So what do we say in the Shem Yichud? The Shem Yichud Shem Yudke Vavke. Shem Vavke. The Indian Kodesh Baruch Hu Shchinte is Marom is the Yudke and Vavke. Yudke is Kodesh Baruch Hu, Vavke is Shchinte. So the word of the word mitzvah itself contains that concept also. Da Mikel Kamoich, Russian talks about Mikel Kamoich is the pasuk that we say in Tashlich. Over there it explains this concept we just said. The mitzvah is the Yud Kevav. Shochazu. Okay. So what did we say now? So we said that mitzvah, the end of mitzvah is, in other words, before we came to until the top of this page, mitzvah, the tzimtzum, that the mitzvah spoil is the tzimtzum of creating the world. But it said really, creation of the world doesn't really need mitzvah. It's a chitzayni sarat. What mitzvah do? Mitzvah is mamshach sevim amal. which is also requires a tzimtzum, what we said before, but a different type of tzimtzum. It's like a tzimtzum that concentrates. So B'meili says V'amshocha zu, that aspect of the amshocha to mitzvahs, not only the first tzimtzum, the second kind of tzimtzum, the tzimtzum that is mamshach tzimtzum shchinosim best by the old, that concentrates the whole applicable. In our world, that's also a result of the fear of the fear shebe mitzvahs. Fear about tzimtzum shemay mitzvahs. Is that goyim mimat tzimtzum l'mayla? That throughout tzimtzum, again, the fear, we also call the tzimtzum l'mayla. It's a different type of tzimtzum. It's not the tzimtzum what we said earlier. The siluk, it's a different tzimtzum. Tzimtzum al der tzimtzum shnas bazeon. Shaya bligvol yoyer begiliv has a malak alone. That is the effect of mitzvahs. So that explains, after we had all this long discussion, now we understand we started in top of page Kuf Chof Aleph. Said that page Kuf Chof. Ma'ase Godel, Sha'adei Ma'ase Mamshichem Tchilas Godel. So what is the really Godel of the Mamshach, it says? Sha'adei Ma'ase Tchilas Godel Havai. It's a different level in Godel. Earlier he said the first Pshat in Godel meant Godel Milosh Nagdul of the Ma'ase Bereshis. Means the creation. The creation is a result of the mitzvahs. It says now according to the second pshat that tzimtzum shchinasim, it's a higher level than shach of seir. That is also marumas in the lashon ma'ase godel. Why? Because mamshirvin is godel havai. What is godel havai? There's havai stam. There's godel havai. Shem havai de leila. Ubchina seir kolam. Godel havai means the level in havai which is godless, which is the union of seir kolam. Because of the Zoya, there's another reference to that thing. It says in Zoya, the in ha-mitzvah is laskona rosa de shmei. Mitzvah says, Zoya says an interesting expression that the purpose of mitzvah is to repair the secret of his name. What's meintus? What's has rosa de shmei? Wo makamacha, pirush rosa de shmei. Pirush shmei agol, rosa de shmei, what is the secret of the name? There's the name itself, which is the sort of the chitzonius, and then the secret that's hiding behind the name, which is a higher shmoy agodol, the higher level. So in Shem Havai, there's a Shem Havai the Lesata, that's shmoy. Shem Havai the Leila, that's called Rosa de Shmei, shmoy hagodol. Laskona in this understanding means to be mamshich, to draw, to pull down that madrig of shmoy hagodol. So we said that it's just added another source of this concept that the purpose, the goal of mitzvahs is to be mamshach seir kol ha'amim. V'zeu das otav from the ma'ase God. So all this explains very elaborately and very clear of Chassidus what is the meaning of the shita of Avtaufen. We started the mind with the shita of Avtaufen. Says in Gemara Kedushin that ma'ase Godel by Shaydei Mamshich is God Lavai, like we just explained, that the ultimate explanation why Avtaf says Ma'ase Godel, because Ma'ase and mitzvahs have this unique quality to be Mamshach Godel Havai, to be Mamshach the highest madriga for Likus. Omnam das Abakiva, so okay, so we took care of that. Omnam das Abakiva, who Talmud God, Abakiva disagrees with Avtaf, and he says Talmud God, what's made this? Why Abakiva disagrees? So what is the explanation? The it's not true, like what Abtafan said, that to the Maise, the Mamsha of the Madrig of God Lavai, we call them a kli close the real vessel. The vessel had to capture that Madrig of God Lavai, had to be able to accept it, receive it in a proper way. For that we need Torah. Why? The Reise Mechachma Nafkes. The Reise, it says in Zoya, Reise Mechachma Nafkes. The Reise Torah comes from Chachma, from the day of Chachma. The Chachma Kli Loyer in Sof. Chachma, the day of Chachma, the sphere of Chachma has a unique quality that it's Kli Loyer in Sof. it's a vessel to receive Ein Sof. Ainu, the Pchinas Ein Sof here means Pchinas Ein Sof Kolam, which we just mentioned before, that the meaning of mitzvahs Mamshel and Sof. She'ie Efshel establish Kli. Bechlal Ein Sof Sof Kolam cannot be mislabish, cannot be included in any vessel, in any Kli. In the Pchinas Chochma, by Pchinas Pnimis. But Chochma has this special quality and tchuna that it could be a kli pnimit l'ensof of seikol. So the truth is that usually Chassidus brings this from Tanya Perek Lamed Hey. Tanya Perek Lamed Hey, it says Shemati mi Meiri that the Ensof Shem is Chachma is bit. But here brings it because the Torah says more. Later it's bring more from the Torah. Because the Torah davar ikach kerach ke'er Ensof shiur elam makayim abitu. The Ensof dwells only in the madrega of bittul, only in a place where everything is bottled. And if there's bittul amita, the ultimate bittul is dafkin chachma. So I think last time alone I tried to understand it, like what is chachma is the intellect. The ultimate intellectual experience is when the person, you want to have an objective understanding of something, he has to put himself aside. He has to be in a state of bittul. Because if his own feelings, his own personality interferes, cannot really capture and understand the intellectual, analyze the whatever he wants to analyze. The ultimate chachma, also that's why it says called gay shaped. Person was a gay, was guy of ego, the shaitan, that's the opposite of chachma. Wisdom comes together with humility. Humility means that you put your own ego aside and you only want to understand the thing itself, the way it is. That's I mean, not exact, obviously, it's a sort of marshal to understand why chachma is connected to bit. The truth is, in seichel gufa there's also bina. So within Sech Guf, the level of Chochma is the ultimate beetle, because Chochma is the innovation. It says that the person who loses himself, and if he has the spark, spark comes from Mila. Yeah, usually it's Mila, but point is that his own ego is totally nullified. Just sees the idea. The idea overwhelms it. Again, all this is a marshal. How the concept of Chachma is the in of Bittul. Mela, because Chachma is Bittul, Amiti, so that's what Save of Kol means the Gilul Likus, which is not it doesn't give it in the Sinas Malcolm to elements. It's unbelievable. All about the Ovein Zelasi. It's only him. So I can any outside being be a Kela to it. Kela means the simple meaning of a Kela means I am something, and I. Like let's say a student. The student is a mitzias. He recognizes his own being, and he is a keli to what the teacher teaches him. So so if the teacher, jumping back from Marshall to another, if there is a in Safaseo, there's a which is so powerful, so infinite. So how can you be a keli to it? So what is the keli to that answer is bittul. If your ego is totally nullified, because you feel total bittul, then you can be a keli to answer. So that's why you say chachma. The madrega of chachma is a keli to answer. Because Torah, mi chachma nafkas teiraisa chachma nafkas Talmud comes from chachma. B'meile, that's why Torah is a keli to the gilui of Ein That was the Amshach of the Ein Sof. He said before the mitzvah of the Ein Sof HaSevet. But how can you be a keli? How can you receive it? That's to Torah, because Torah is the expression of bit. So now he says like this: the ine Kabbalah bit. So the first time we learned that we said the word the Chachma here doesn't make sense, but maybe it means to say it's like. Maybe it means to say it's like the bit of Chachma. Kabbalah's oil of mitzvahs is also bittul. Bittul means, like we said, the eved, the servant. He's not his own interest side in his butt. It's the prince Hanach Satzmusika now. Mikomakum Kabbalah's oil machshamach is bitla yesh. The chachma bitla mit. So now he brings in the two levels in bittul gufa. There's the bitla yesh. Usually here it says here he calls it bitla yesh versus bitla mit. In other places in Chassidus, it's the standard line is bitla yesh versus bitla b'mitzias. The two levels of bittul, how we experience this, the humility, the self-nullification. So the bittul of Kabbalah soil means how do we explain that? The bittul Kabbalah soil means that you have your interests, you have your nature, and just break it. You mevatel the yeshes. You break it and you do something that you don't want, you're not interested in. So in that bittul, in that type of bittul, your being is still there, but it's being sort of, in the modern language, it's called suppressed. You suppress your own interest. Suppress it. When you suppress something, that's in the modern language, it's very common to say that when you suppress something, it's hidden somewhere, it's there, but it's suppressed. But that's called bitlayesh, that you suppress your inner drives. So that's called bitlayesh. Bittul b'tzias means you don't suppress anything. You actually dissolve. You really don't lose your ego. It's not to suppress the ego. You lose it. You don't have an ego anymore. That's a higher level of bittul. I'm trying to use language, but we can relate a little bit. But they says that is the difference between the Kabbalah style of mitzvahs and the bittul of Torah, of Chachma. The Kabbalah style of mitzvahs is like the Evet. It suppresses his own interest, puts them aside. But Chachma is bittul amit. Okay, and he doesn't elaborate more. I will just try it. Okay, Chachma davke clear himself. That is why Chachma is a clear himself, because Chachma is the ultimate bittul. You just said before, Torah is the Madriga of Chachma. The learning Torah brings a person in the state of Chachma. So he's going to bring a few dogmas. Where do we see in actual limud Torah, when the person learns Torah, where do we see that aspect of bittul? Number one, Lachein Eisek HaTorah tzarich lisnas bittul. Dafka. The proper learning Torah, the proper way of learning Torah is that a person is in a state of bittul, the state of humility and the self-nullification. First of all, there's a pasuk that proves it. V'asim dvorei b'ficha. I mean, the pasuk v'asim dvorei b'ficha doesn't talk about Torah, but Chazal learn pshat that there's a remez on Torah. It says. ועושים דברי בפיך ובצל יודי כסיסיך לנטוי השמיים וליסד אורת ולאמר לפין עמיות. That's what the pasuk is. Now Chazal say that ועושים דברי בפיך is a remez על לימוד Torah. But so how does the Torah learn? ועושים דברי בפיך. The person doesn't feel that he is learning. He is just, the Eibishter puts the Torah word in his mouth, so it's not him, it's the Eibishter. So that's an expression of bittul. So that's the example number one from the sources. We see the ultimate limud Torah, the ultimate way of learning Torah is in the state of bittul. Another pasuk, another pasuk. Tan l'sheni imasecha ka'inach ha'kain. It says tan l'sheni. It says my tongue will answer. Why say answer? What does answer mean? Again, answer also means it's not that I say something on my own. I'm just replying to your call. You follow what that the Balkaya says something, and you just repeat what he says. So that's another example of the concept of bittul, that it's not your own. You just repeat what the Kaya says. Again, he brings a few dogmas, a few examples of to express the idea. Limud Torah is bittul. So the first is osim void. The second is Tan l'shen kainach haker. Uksiv, there's a third marshal, a third example. Siva mitborech nova. Okay, so it says in Shir Hashirim, when the Eibishter describes Knesset Yisrael, so one of the descriptions of the beauty of the Knesset Yisrael, so mitborech nova. What does mitborech nova mean? So I think the simple pshat mitborech means lashon dibur. Your speech is beautiful. But again, so we're not learning pshat here. So there's another remez in this person. So mitborech means dibur b'teira. That mitborech means when you say mitborech now, what speech are we talking? We're not talking about stam dvarim b'teira. Mitborech means to learn dibur b'teira. But the word dibur b'teira is expressed about mitborech. Tzarich li express mitbor. So this in that pasuk in Shir Hashirim, it describes the dibur b'teira of Eden. It's called midborech, which is a desert. What is a desert? Desert is pchinas midbar shalei yezur. So the word of mid, the concept of midbar also expresses bittul. What is midbar? Eretz lo yezur. It's a land which is not planted. What's meant to say? Is this, what is the remez? What does it mean in Avodah? Shelo yezur etzayne v'tzich l'midaisa. That is his own interest, his own intellectual curiosity, his own emotions are not there. They're not planted there. It's a desert. It's a desert that doesn't have any, which means so he brought a bunch of interesting sources, Ramazim and Psukim and Chazal, how the inner of Torah is bittul. The last one is like Shlei Zur, the midbar Shabbat. Why is Torah midbar? Because Shlei Zur, it doesn't have any of its own interests, in his own curiosity, in his own emotional drive. Nothing is there. It's bottom. Okay, so we see all these sources teach us how the ultimate way of learning Torah is in a state of bittul. Okay, not Torah, clearly so that's why Torah is a keli l'gilui. That's again. So he started a few things. First, he spoke about the chokhmah is gilui. Then he said Torah. We see it in the way for the proper way of learning Torah. Also, we have the inyan of bittul. That's why Torah is really Talmud Gadol. It's a keli. It's a Gadol to gilui and stuff. But then he goes further. He brings a marshal to that concept. HaTorah and Chokhmah is a clearly good and so. Marshal ba'adam. So it brings it from Tanya, like I said, from the end of Tanya, the Aleph and the base. So it says, Marshal ba'adam, we see the way the human nature operates. The life force of the neshama reaches all the limbs of the body. There's the power of the eye to see, the ear to hear, movement is in the hand, walking in foot. But where is really the source of all these individual abilities that the body has? Where is the source? Where is the general source? It really, everything exists within the brain. The moyach is the one that connects the chayes of the neshama to all the limbs of the body. Anytime we have pain, any part of our body, we feel it in our head. Because the general source of all these koyches is in the brain. What does klolus mean? Klolus doesn't mean that the same thing that's in specifics, it's in a general state in the brain. It's more than that. It's atzmis, it's the essence, the source of everything. When Shagaz was saying, that's what it says in Tanya Perik Nun Aleph, the mahusam v'atzmus v'kol ha'koyches kulam ha'mayach shebareish. That the essence of all the koyches, the chayes, of all the koyches is really mayach shebareish. It's all in the brain. מה שנמשך, והאיבור מבחינת זה פשטס לבד. what reaches the limbs of the body, like that's only the spash, that's only the extension, the expression of the koyach, but the essence, the essential koyach resides within the brain. So that's a mush. We started all the mush. What's the name? Regular in sof. Okay. Similarly, in the gil of the sof, so the brain, the muscle, the nimshal of the brain is the Torah. The amshach of the Sof is really in Torah. They are Torah nimshal b'mitzvahs. So here compares the brain, the rest of the body to Torah and mitzvahs. The way that the early key is in Torah. That's why it's in the brain. The koyach atzmi. And then they are Torah nimshal b'mitzvahs. Then to the Torah, that oil itself is drawn, is pulled into the mitzvahs. The amach kudir machav the malka. That marshal is said of the that the mitzvahs are compared to the limbs of the body is actually clearly, it says in Zohar, amach kudir machav the malka. The 248 mitzvahs esse are the so to speak limbs of the king. It means that they're expression for likus, like limbs. So who is pashtas? So that madriga reaches the mitzvah is only pashtas, similar to the way it's in the body. Then there's another remez and that concept in another pasuk. The ner mitzvah v'teirah. The mitzvah is important. What is a ner? Ner means a candle. Candle is a little vessel that contains within it the oil and the wick, and then you light it. So it's a clear party. But so the mitzvahs are called neir because a neir is like a individual type of vessel. Hashem Torah is called air. That's light, the general light. Kloli. Shesham is gabos. Interesting. So he says the word of Torah means more than that. Is gabos. Within Torah, the air is in a state of in a more powerful, more strong state. Okay, continue tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so the Torah is a keli, but the
What?
mitzvahs are the Torah is a keli to get,
Okay.
but the mitzvahs
Yeah.
are the
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a good point. The keli, we say keli when they get to Torah, it means a different meaning. Okay, we'll deal with it tomorrow. All right.
okay.
Yeah. All right.